Which is better, a Roth IRA or an IUL? In this video, we will dive into both and how each account works so you can make that decision for yourself. We'll start with a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is considered a non-qualified retirement plan because it isn't offered through your employers. It's something that you set up on your own, so you own it. You contribute after-tax dollars into the account and the money inside will grow and compound, accessible to you in the future at retirement, all tax-free. Now, you can always get to the contributions that you put into that account at any time, at any age, without paying any penalty. However, there are some limitations and restrictions around how you access your interest. If you try to touch the interest prior to turning age 59 and a half and prior to meeting the 5-year criteria, which basically means the account must have been opened for at least 5 years before you touch your interest, any interest that you withdraw will be assessed taxes and a 10% federal penalty. Now, there are no loan provisions. There is no ability to borrow money out of your Roth IRA. To avoid this, you can only withdraw it. There are some restrictions to making a new contribution into a Roth IRA. In 2025, in order to make a full contribution into a Roth IRA, if you're single, you would have to have a modified adjusted gross income of less than $150,000 a year. And if you're married, filing joint, you would need to have a modified adjusted gross income of less than $236,000 a year. Now, if your income exceeds the threshold and you still want to contribute into a Roth IRA, there is kind of a workaround to this. What you would need to do is contribute into a traditional IRA with the plan to do what's called a backdoored Roth IRA conversion, meaning you're going to take some money from that traditional IRA and backdoor or convert it into a Roth IRA. In order to do that, you're going to owe the taxes on the full amount that you convert in the year that you convert it. You just don't owe a 10% federal penalty because you're not doing a withdrawal. You are just doing a conversion. Now, this process can be a little bit annoying, maybe a little painful. There is some paperwork that is typically involved, maybe some signatures that are needed, and you do have to have the entire amount that you would owe for taxes available to pay your taxes the following year when you file. And you do need to have earned income, at least in the household, in order to contribute into a Roth IRA, as long as you meet the income threshold requirements. And you do have annual contribution limits that you need to follow every single year. As of 2025, if you are under the age of 50, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year. And if you are over the age of 50, you can contribute up to $8,000 a year. And those contributions are a use it or lose it. If you do not use the full $7,000 or $8,000 in a given year, whatever amount you did not use does not roll over to the following year. As for how the money grows inside of your Roth IRA, you have a lot of choices. You can choose between a wide array of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, money market accounts, even alternative investments. And whatever investment you choose is going to determine the cost and the fees associated with that plan, and that can vary drastically. So it is definitely recommended if you go with a Roth IRA to have some basic knowledge and understanding of how the markets move and how that correlates to your time horizon and your risk tolerance to ensure that you actually have money still inside that account when you go to retire. And finally, there is no additional death benefit component to the plan. When the owner dies, the beneficiaries will inherit the value of the account, all tax-free. Compared to an IUL is not considered a retirement plan. It is considered a permanent life insurance policy with a cash value component that is attached to it. You own it, you contribute after-tax dollars into it, same as with the Roth IRA, and the money inside will grow and compound, accessible in the future, all tax-free. One big difference between a Roth IRA and an IUL is with an IUL, you can access all of the money inside the account, your contributions, plus your interest at any time, at any age, without paying any penalty. The only caveat to this is the money has to be available inside of the surrender value category. Surrender with an IUL is kind of like a vesting schedule with a 401k, where in the beginning, the insurance company doesn't give you access to all of your money, but as the years roll on, they give you access to a higher and higher percentage of it. So for example, in the beginning, they might give you access to at most maybe 50 to 60% of the account value, but usually after 10 years, they give you access to everything. And with an IUL, you do have the ability to borrow money out of the policy, all tax-free for anything that you need, unlike with a Roth IRA. And the cool thing is there is no repayment agreement or terms to that loan. You can pay that loan off whenever you want. The downside is you do got to be mindful of the amount that you are taking out because you do not want to cause your policy to lapse. You do not need to have earned income in order to contribute into an IUL, and there are no restrictions based on income, and there are no restrictions based on how much you can contribute yearly into an IUL. So, for example, you could be making $1 million a year, contributing $100,000 a year or more into your IUL, and it would be totally fine. You control the cap on what you can contribute per year, and it's based on the size of the death benefit or the amount of life insurance that you get inside your IUL. The more life insurance you get, the more money you can contribute per year into that account. You control it. And the best part is, it's not use it or lose it. If you do not contribute your full amount of money in a given year, whatever you did not use will roll over to the following year, so on and so forth. So you can make up those contributions at a later date. And for how the money grows inside of your IUL, it's growing indexed to the stock market, not invested inside of it. So basically, you choose the stock market index that you want to track. And when that index goes up, your money is going to grow up to a certain cap or spread or participation rate. That is the amount of money that you give the insurance company. And in exchange, they guarantee you that when the stock market you chose goes down, you don't lose any money. If they didn't have that exchange, it would be way too good to be true. Now, there's usually somewhere between 5 to 10 different indexes that you can choose to track inside of a given IUL, and there's usually some variation of the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ. This all being said, you usually don't need to have a ton of investment experience to have money in an IUL because it's pretty simple and you can't lose money. And because your money isn't invested in the stock market, there are no hidden fees or hidden advisor costs. There's just the cost of insurance. And that is going to be based on your age, your health history, and your criminal background. Because yes, you do need to get approved to own an IUL because of the additional life insurance benefit that is attached to the plan that is permanent and pays out alongside the policy's cash value, all tax-free when the owner passes away. And also, that life insurance benefit is typically accessible to the owner of the policy during their lifetime if they were to get severely sick or injured with something like a heart attack, maybe stroke, maybe cancer, to use for any unexpected medical costs. We call this living benefits. There you go, mission accomplished. Take a look at the two side by side and determine which one has the benefits and features that you are looking for. Drop a comment below explaining why you made that choice. And just know that ultimately the best account for you is going to be dependent on your age, your risk tolerance, how much money you are looking to save, and your overall financial goals. If you'd like to learn more about how each one of these accounts work, I have linked 2 videos here that will share with you everything you could want to know. Make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss another video educating you about what to do with your money. Catch you next week on YouTube.